Hey everyone, because I released an ebook about how to paint, I wanted to show how I paint with values using this character. So um, I use values first because that helps me um, make a good painting basically. But let me show what I mean. I think that's clear. So I will start with a ball. So usually I start, of course, with a sketch. And then I start adding in the different layers with some values like this gray ball. So this is on one layer. What I now do is I press this button and I'm working in Photoshop, and you also have this in Procreate and other tools. So for shading, I just use a regular brush, a soft, regular, round brush. So nothing fancy. And I always get a lot of questions about what kinds of brushes am I using. So and basically just basic brushes. So here in the slider in top right corner, you have white to black, and that is basically value. So I'm taking a darker value here, and I start shading this ball. So I start with shading the core shadow like this here. And the light is coming from left top corner. So let me draw a little lamp to make that clear. So here's the light coming from. We can see this side is darker. So again, we're taking that big round brush. So we've added that core shadow, but I also want to have some reflective shadow. Because this ball is on the ground, there's also light bouncing off the ground onto the ball. And I like to add and highlight like this here. And maybe, use a bit of here, making this a little bit darker. So we have that really round ball effect like this. And I also want to make a cast shadow. So I duplicate this ball and I use the transform tool. And again, I'm using Photoshop, but you can also use this method in Procreate. The tools are only on a bit of different place. So here, let's add this shadow. I think this looks kind of okay. Sometimes I also draw it in. It depends a bit on how much time I want to spend. So I've made this black, and now I want to blur these edges. So, but I still have this alpha lock turned on. I shouldn't have done that. So Gaussian blur, have this blur around this. Yeah, it is fine for now. And I think it's a little bit too dark. So change the opacity a little bit of it. I'm taking the eraser and I'm making that eraser a bit softer. So, and erase this a little bit like this. And here, this part here should be a bit sharper than the far edge. And that's because this part of the shadow is closer to the ball than this shadow there. So that part should be a bit more blurred out. And I'll have to do it like this. So let me recap a bit what I just did and explain a bit about the colors. So it's important to first decide where the light source is. So here's the light source. This is the highlight. And it depends a bit on how shiny this ball should be. So then we have the center light, like this here, and the half tone. So the half tone is a bit where the center light is turning into the cast shadow. So that's basically a place where the gradient is transforming. So, and then here we have a core shadow. So that is the main shadow. Then there's reflected light here, reflected light. And then we have the occlusion shadow. Occlusion shadow. And that is, for example, if you look at your fingers and you press your fingers together, like this here, then this part is black. You get a black line. So that should be here. So I could have made this part a little bit darker. And then we have the cast shadow here. So that is the shadow that's cast by the object, cast shadow. And then we have the terminator. So here's the halftone, and then here's the terminator. That is, think that of where it's starting to get really dark. So terminator. And that's basically what I use to block in the values of a character like this. And then you probably wonder, but I want to color my character. So I make a layer on top of it, and I put that on color here. So what I'm going to do now, let's make this creature green. So let's add some green to this creature. And you can see now we're adding basically colors to this character. So it always needs some work. You do get a little bit of muddy characters often with this method. I'm not working with values first, but I would really encourage you to, if you start with digital painting, to actually start learning with value first, because you can really focus on this part first. And then, as you can see here, color is basically a secondary thing. If you have the values and you add color on top of it, a lot of it will be right. So that is basically how I use painting in my work. And if you're interested in more, you can check out my ebook with a 5-hour video tutorial. And there I go much more in depth. Here I quite of big. It was a bit fast. But in this ebook and the video tutorial, I take way more time for it to explain how to paint. So check that out by going to gumroad.com/Mitch Leeuwe, or see the link here in the description. So thanks everyone for watching, and I hope you have a great and creative day. Bye bye.